Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. It is Momentum Monday. Yes, indeed. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited this morning. It is going down right now, and I am about to bring to the line a phenomenal woman, someone who is known as a professional coach, a role model, mentor, leader, national speaker, vice president of human resources in corporate America, and many others. But she says her most important titles are wife and mom. She has helped me and hundreds of women across the country become better and stronger. She is the host and the visionary of this call, and this woman is bad to the bone. I'm so honored to bring to the line Miss Jill Jordan Green. Good morning, Jill. How you doing?
Good morning, Lynette. Thank you so much. How are you this morning?
I'm on fire this morning, pumped up and full of momentum.
Yes, let's go, folks. I want to say good morning, and good morning. Welcome to Momentum Mondays. My name is Jill Green, and I'm soaring in 16, the host of the call that's designed to wake you up, shake you up, and take you up to new levels in your life, your career, your business, and your dreams. Before we get started today to talk about momentum, which is my favorite subject, I want to introduce to you some of my amazing co-hosts. First up, we have Bishop Dickie Robbins. He's the pastor of Life in Christ Cathedral Faith Ministries, the author of the brand new devotional, Wisdom of Her 90-Day Journey, all the way from Chester, PA. Give it up for Bishop. Good morning, Bishop.
Good morning, Jill Jordan Green, and the best morning call in the world. Wake up and let's get it done.
Absolutely. And next up, also from the East Coast, we have Miss Michelle Washington. She's a visionary of Women of More campaign, author of the brand new Women of More magazine, all the way from Newark, Delaware. Good morning, Michelle.
Woo! Good morning, Jill. I am excited. I'm intentional, and I'm going to accomplish my goals today. Let's go. Woo!
Yes. And all the way from my hometown, Fort Wayne, Indiana, she's a partner in a major law firm, a writer, keynote speaker, author of the brand new book, Boss Presence. Give it up for Dr. Dawn Roseman. Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning, Jill. How are you? It is an amazing Monday. I'm so glad to be on the call. Let's go. Let's reign. It's time. Let's get it.
Let's go. Let's reign. It is time. You're correct. And last but certainly not least, you hear her voice every single Monday morning. She welcomes you to make sure that your Mondays are never the same. She is from Detroit, Michigan, the owner of Virtually Yours, founder of Saving Our Youth, author of #1 best-selling book, Mission Unstoppable, that she penned with Les Brown and George Fraser. Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning, Jill. Good morning, team. And to all the winners on the line, guess what? We're seizing the moment, killing procrastination, because the future is now. Let's go.
Let's go. And I want to say thanks to all of you who join this call every single Monday morning to make sure that your Mondays will never be the same. And if you want to dialogue with us, go ahead and join our Momentum Monday Facebook group and make your comments or ask your questions, like or quote. But go right now and type in hashtag I am on the call. Hashtag I am on the call. Folks, we had an amazing series that we wrapped up last week on the power of branding, on the steps to having a powerful brand. But today we're kicking off a new brand new discussion about momentum. It is my favorite topic. Why? Because momentum is a critical ingredient of success. The success of your task, your project, your business, or your dream. It can be the difference between winning and losing. It can be the difference between reaching your goals and just dreaming about them. With momentum, difficult tasks seem easy. Without momentum, one can find it difficult to even get motivated out of bed in the morning. A train with momentum, traveling at 60 miles per hour, can crash through a 5-foot thick steel reinforced concrete wall without stopping. That same train, starting from a stationary position, won't be able to go through an inch-thick wooden block that's in front of it because there is no momentum. The formula for momentum, or the scientific formula for momentum, is mass plus velocity. Mass is the amount of something headed in a certain direction. It's the amount of atoms, or we're going to say the amount of activity headed in a certain direction. Velocity is the rate of speed of something in a given direction. So as you notice in the train example, the more speed that is picked up, the stronger the force of the train. Now, do you remember when you were a kid and you used to get on the swing set and you would swing back and forth, and when the kids would first get on the swing and you begin to pump your legs real slow, then the harder you pumped and the faster you pumped, you went higher and higher and higher so that you could be propelled at a higher rate to jump. Now, I don't know why we would do that, but kids do it all over the country. I love it. That is the power of momentum. You're propelled higher. I read an article, Michelle, by Michelle LaBrosse, who talks a lot about momentum. And she explained that the more time you give yourself with a project or a goal, the slower the train will move. She said that speed is important. Acceleration is important. Compressing timelines is important. Having a sense of urgency is important when you are creating momentum. So, folks, 3 things I learned as I studied momentum is that your action, your direction, and your rate of speed are all critical when building momentum. Now, I wanted to set that up for you. But how do you get momentum? There are 3 steps. You have to have a maniacal mindset. You have to have the builder's blueprint. And you also have to have speed and consistency. But you notice the very first thing I said was having a maniacal mindset. And that's what we're going to start today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about having a maniacal mindset. So, Bishop, I'm going to start with you this morning. Why do you think it's important and critical to have a maniacal mindset to begin to create momentum?
Well, Jill, the reason why it's required is because that maniacal mindset is what focuses you in on the tasks that are necessary to build the momentum. Sometimes we are so scattered in our thought process and in our focus, it's like trying to hit a target from 100 yards away with a shotgun rather than a rifle. So we have to begin to pull our priorities together and focus on that which is important to provide the initial inertia to move us toward our goal. And once we have focused in on that, then that mindset must become steady. It's almost like putting your car on cruise control. It's one thing to get up to the speed that you want to cruise at, but once you do that, you have to lock that in by setting the cruise control. You already have your direction set, you already have your speed set, and locking in that cruise control moves you consistently toward the target that you're trying to reach.
Absolutely, Bishop, absolutely. Why do you think we're saying maniacal mindset, though? Why is that word maniacal so important, Bishop? Break that down for me.
Well, maniacal suggests that you are a maniac. That means that you are totally driven, that you are, will not be denied, and that you're going to press with all that is within you toward that thing that you are determined to make happen. Someone who is considered to be maniacal, a lot of people say what you're doing does not make sense. And to the outside world, it does not make sense why you are pouring so much of yourself, your energy, your resources into what you're doing. But your vision only has to make sense to you because you're the one that God gave it to.
Absolutely, folks. You're here with us on Momentum Monday. We are talking about the power of momentum. And there are 3 ways you create momentum. The first one is having a maniacal mindset. And Bishop just said maniacal means you are a maniac. It means you won't be stopped. It means that you'll do things that might appear to be crazy to others, but however, others don't have to understand your vision or your direction. As long as you know the purpose that you have, as long as you know the plan that God has called you to, move forward. We're talking about having a maniacal mindset. Michelle, I'm coming to you this morning because I have someone on the call saying, well, I know I want to have a maniacal mindset, but what are some of the first steps? And so I'm going to say the first step to having a maniacal mindset is you have to feed it. You have to feed it. So, Michelle, talk to me about some of your habits in regards to how you feed your maniacal mindset.
Well, one of the things I have to say is feeding, and the way that I feed my mindset is I'm on the road a lot, so when I read, I'm more a listener. than actually picking up a book. So one of the things I do, I listen to a lot of YouTube videos. One of my mentors in my head is Eric Thomas. I love him. I love his passion. I love his revelation. I love his teachings. And also Bishop Jakes is another mentor in my head as well that I listen to on a continuous basis. But the thing that I've realized, too, is the best mentor in my life is the information that I have accumulated over time. You all know that on my wall that there are different declarations that I deem important, things that I want in my life. So not only do I listen to other people, but I know there are some things that I have accumulated that I need to apply, because Eric Thomas and Bishop Jakes, they're not going to come. Well, maybe they're not going to come, but they're not here right now. I can't physically see them, but I know there are some things that God has placed on the inside of me that I need to replay on my own time on a consistent basis.
Absolutely. And Dr. Dawn, I want to ask you that same question. Folks, you're here with Momentum Monday. We're talking about creating momentum, and the very first step is having a maniacal mindset. In order to have a maniacal mindset, you have to feed it. So I'd love to hear, Dr. Dawn, some of your habits in regards to how you feed your mind to make sure you're having a maniacal mindset.
I stay around other maniacal mindset people, if that makes sense. I hang out with y'all. I mean, real talk. I mean, because you know, for me, you know, one of the biggest things, you know, it almost is a little bit intimidating, but I like it, where somebody speaks to you and they're like, hey, how's that book? Because you told me about it. You said you're going to do it. Or you say you're going to, you let somebody in. You got to let the right people in. We've talked about that a lot, about having the right circle. But I stay around people who push me and I speak to my dreams, if that makes sense to you, Jill. I think it's critical, and I certainly, the same thing like Michelle, I feed myself constantly. I'm sitting here, and I'm looking around my office. You know, I keep things in front of me that remind me not just of my why, but push. They push me. Another word for momentum. I mean, I got things in front of me that say, don't quit. It hits me as soon as I walk in the door. I got my book sitting on my shelf. My own words ensnare me a lot. You know, because you can't be, I don't ever want to be seen as being, you know, hypocritical, where I put something out there, say something, but I don't live it myself, right? So I keep stuff like that in front of me. I wake up in the morning, I do not, I used to watch the news all the time. I don't anymore. It breeds fear. I found for me, it bred fear. I did not like that. I found myself having to work through that to get my day started. So I start my day right. And, you know, not just in prayer, but Joyce Meyer comes on at 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning on channel 1530. Every day it's on. That's what I play, whether I'm doing my hair or whatever, because I need that. I listen to my pastor, you know, throughout the week. He puts up YouTube videos all the time, and just all types of things to keep me focused on the task at hand. And the task at hand is to lead people to the realization that they were created to reign in this life. That's not going to happen by accident.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it, folks. Here with Momentum Monday, we're talking about creating momentum. And how do you do that? First of all, we're having a maniacal mindset. Michelle, I loved how you said that you feed your mind by what you listen to. You listen to YouTube videos, right? You watch and listen to T.D. Jakes or Eric Thomas. And I love what you said, Dawn, in regards to the circle. You hang around other people who have a maniacal mindset. I love how you said that sometimes it's intimidating. Sometimes, you know, I hang around you guys and I hear you say certain things, and I'm like, wow, I need to step up my game. You challenge me. I think that's important. You also said that you surround yourself with folks who can speak to your dream, and then you are conscious about what you watch. You no longer watch the CNN or the news, but you feed your mind and feed your spirit by Joyce Meyer and other things. Folks, it is so critical. We can't be any more casual about what we put before our eyes or what we listen to. We have to be very conscious. And so I have a challenge, and Lynette, I am coming to you, but I challenge you on the call for the next 30 days to be very intentional about what you watch and what you read, because you are feeding your mind. Lynette Rogers, you are big on having a maniacal mindset. Tell me about some of your habits and how you feed your mind.
Well, you know, I was just thinking the same thing as Dawn. I'm very intentional about the people that I surround myself with. So I want to go back to her point, because energy is so transferable, right? And so I'm always making sure I'm around positive people. We are filled in a world full of negativity, and that energy is transferable and draining. And so I am always Like when I need a pick-me-up or when I know I need that takeoff, I don't have a problem calling Michelle Washington any time of day. She is always ready, and it's just literally one of those things that works when you around people that are running and are go-getters. Those are the people that transfer that energy, and you get off the phone with people like a Michelle, a Jill, a Dawn, and all the people that you know are running. It makes you say, hey, let me pick my speed up. Let me go ahead and finish the things that I need to do. So I am very serious when I say I'm intentional about, I don't care where on the planet I need to go, where on the planet I need to be. I make sure I try to be around people who are already running, already winning, because, hey, at the end of the day, you want to run with the runners, right? You can walk with the walkers, but those people that are parked, they're not going anywhere, Jill, at all.
That's good.
I love it. I love it. I love it, folks. You're here on Momentum Monday, and we're talking about creating momentum. This is actually the very first topic that we discussed on our very first call back on July 6, 2015. We started off talking about momentum, and I've seen momentum created. I've seen it lost, and guess what? The great thing is you can get it again. But the first step is having a maniacal mindset, and how do you do that? You have to, one, feed it, and we just gave examples. The other thing is you have to speak it, right? Speak it. You have to watch your mouth. So, Bishop, I want to come to you about that. You know, we're talking about creating momentum and having a maniacal mindset, but you have to watch your mouth and what you say in regards to momentum. Bishop, why is that important?
Well, the Word of God tells us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. They're both there. And depending on what you say out of your mouth, you're going to create a momentum toward that thing. So either you're going to move your dreams toward life or you're going to move them toward death by the very power that's in your very own tongue. See, other people can speak things about your dream, about your vision, about your goal, and you can shield your dream from what those people say. But when you're the one who's poisoning your dream, then that's called dream suicide. And so we have to be very, very careful about even speaking our feelings. You see, it's one thing to feel something about your dream, but you can't speak what you feel, because if you give yourself 15 minutes, your feelings can change. Don't be impulsive with your speaking, because you can't go back and get those words once you have released them from your mouth. It's like trying to drop all the feathers out of your pillow from the top of your roof and then going down and picking them all up. So that's how hard it is to get those words back. So I will say choose your words carefully, govern your feelings, and don't let your feelings govern your speech.
Wow, Bishop, you said dream suicide. Now, we cannot move on beyond that point. You know, this is really important because we do have two more points that we're going to get to in this series in regards to building momentum. But, Bishop, I want to talk more about that, you know, because I think a lot of us are guilty of dream suicide, killing our own dreams with the words that we speak. Why do you think that we do that? And I say the universal we because I spent a weekend with a ton of beautiful women, and that's one thing we talked about. We called it self-love and stop sabotaging our own success with our words. But why do you think that's so common among people?
It is common because we are, unfortunately, living in a society where people are so governed by what they feel. People don't go to church because they don't feel like it. They don't go to work because of how they're feeling. They don't get up and do the things that's on their to-do list because they don't feel like it. And we let people tamper with our feelings. And because we allow people and circumstances to tamper with our feelings, and we begin to speak, because the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So unless you have a regulator on your lips that govern what you say, you will just say anything. So out of anger, a husband and wife can say hurtful things to each other. But if they have learned how to govern their mouth, they'll say nothing rather than releasing words that are going to be harmful to their marriage. It's the same thing with your dream. You can become so frustrated with what did not happen concerning your dream that you begin to curse your dream with the words of your mouth. And once again, that is poisoning your dream. That is dream suicide.
Bishop.
That's powerful. We got to talk about that. We have the ability to curse our dreams with our words, and then we wonder We wonder, Michelle and Dawn and Lynette, why it seems like we're stopped or we're stuck, right? Or we just can't seem to get to that next place. And is it because we've cursed our dream?
Wow.
Dawn, talk to me about that. Now, that's powerful. Now, that's causing me to reflect on some things. Because I know that there are times, and I will share this. I shared this about you, Dawn, this weekend, and I may have shared this on the call before, but you and I were having a conversation on the phone, and we were talking about our book projects, and I think I was congratulating you on your book, and I said, man, I said, well, Dawn, you wrote a book. I said, but I just did I just put together a little journal, and I was really downplaying the work and the process and the project, and you stopped me. You said, wait a minute. You don't get to disrespect my friend Jill in this conversation, and you don't get to say that she's done anything little. Like, you checked me hard on that point, and I received that because in that moment I was sabotaging, right, the very thing I had just done, and I was taking, So Dawn, talk to me about that. I thought that was powerful.
And it's so funny because I remember that. And what's funny about it, and what I don't know if you knew, I can't remember if we talked about this, but I could easily say that to you, right? Because it sounds crazy to me that you would devalue all the hard work that you put into. I don't care if it resulted in 5 pages or 5,000 pages. I knew what you had done and what you had shared, what you dreamed about to get your project out, right? So it was easy for me to do that for you or say that to you. But, man, I had just got done beating myself up about the same thing. I was scared to death to release Boss Presence because when it got done, I was like, man, it's not long enough. It's not a real book. That's what I kept saying. It's not a real book. So, when Bishop says that, I'm just sitting here, I'm just taking notes because, there's all these synonyms for momentum, and one of them is and look at the thesaurus, and it says, like, fire in your belly. The quickest way to put out that fire is to speak negative words about yourself, about your dream, out of your own mouth. It's crazy how quickly it happens because we listen to ourselves, we hear it, and it comes out of us, like Bishop said, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? And so there's something in us that's going unchecked, and we're letting it go out, and so it just shapes the way we see ourselves. And so for the longest time, I walked around like, that's why it took me so long to write the book. To write anything, Jill, because I was talking, I don't have anything to say. Ain't nobody going to listen to me. It ain't that big of a deal. And it's crazy. And so it is critical that we ensnare the words. And before you get to the words, ensnare those thoughts. Because the words come from those thoughts. And every thought that comes to us is not of God. And that's why he always tells, hey, check them things and make sure that they are mine and that they line up with me, because if they're not, then you need to arrest them and get them out. Don't speak that stuff out. And so you have to be incredibly intense. Stealing your word, Michelle, you have to be incredibly intentional about, hey, I don't think I'm going to make it. Well, that don't sound like my God. That don't sound like who I am. I was created to reign, so I ain't going to say that. I'm going to say the exact opposite. And so what I've done is when I get them crazy thoughts, and they come all the time, and know this, the more momentum you build, the more your platform grows, the more people are checking for you, the more those thoughts come. Because the devil is trying to tell you that the fall, he gives you glimpses of how big the fall is, right? And so you got to be intentional about, I start doing things like the moment the thought comes and I know it doesn't line up right with who I know I am, I immediately just try to say the opposite out loud. So I begin to hear myself, even if I have no feelings to back it up, Jill, because your feelings will mess you up big time. But you got to start doing that on purpose every time so that that fire in your belly stays lit.
I love that. I love that. Momentum is that fire in your belly. Folks, you're here on Momentum Monday, where your Mondays will never be the same. We're talking about the power of momentum and how to create that momentum. The first thing is by having a maniacal mindset. And, Dawn, I love the fact that you said that another word for momentum is fire in your belly. And that thing will propel you and cause you to move forward. But we're talking about, the power of your own very words, and that you could kill your dream with the things that we say. And, Dawn, you mentioned earlier about having that circle. You were in my circle, and you could tell me, shut that down. Don't say that again, which is really, really powerful. And it's amazing because, right, we all struggle with the same thing. And the reason why I'm sharing that this morning, and I'm glad you shared it, Dawn, and Michelle and Lynette and Bishop, I'm going to come to you on this, is because we don't always get it right, folks. We, too, struggle with sometimes sabotaging our own success with our words. And so I'm now much more aware of the things that I say, but I have to be aware every day, Dawn. And there are sometimes when words come, I'll open up my phone on my little yellow notepad, and I have certain things that I remind myself to say, right? Because sometimes I can't think quick enough on something, that I need to say to affirm me in that moment, so I just go back. I'll go back to my little list of things that I tell myself every single day to make sure that I am not sabotaging my success. Michelle, I want to talk to you. You just, Dawn finished her Boss Presence Project, her book. You recently launched in July Women of More magazine. Talk to me about your mindset as you were creating momentum with that project, and did you have any moments where you were tempted to sabotage your success with your words?
Of course I did. I knew that I was on the right path. I knew that I heard from God. I know this is part of my purpose in life, but because of my lack of confidence as I was running towards the finish line, I was talking myself out of it, and I laugh about it now. Thank God I could laugh about it, but I was stressing over 8 pages for the Launch magazine, and you were with me, and again, it's important who you have in your corner, but I was stressing. I stayed in the house one Saturday for the entire day stressing over 8 pages. But I know that stress in that moment was for the next phase, the next edition in the magazine. And I felt like people weren't going to read it. I felt like it didn't have, it wasn't going to be relevant. It was, I started talking myself out of it, really. But I realized that it wasn't about me and my feelings, like Bishop said, and it's so true. I had to get out of my own way. If I said that I know that this was part of my purpose and God planted in me, it's not up to me to feel like it's going to do anything. My part in all of this is just be obedient and do it with excellence and do it until I can't do it anymore. And the amazing thing, and I know it's not any goodness of my own, but the amazing thing about this, because of that, we have readers in Spain, Canada, China, Uganda. It's just blowing my mind, Jill. And again, it's just based upon me saying yes and being obedient to what I heard and start watering that purpose, that God-ordained word in my life.
That is so very powerful, folks. You're here at Momentum Monday. We're talking about momentum. One way to create it is have a maniacal mindset. We're coming toward the bottom of the call, but I know that we do have a question, I think, in the group. And, Bishop, I'm going to ask you to begin to address this, and then I'll have some of the other co-hosts as well. I think the question is, how can you get back to your dream if you cursed it? Which I think is a very, very, very wonderful question, Bishop. So we mentioned earlier, Bishop, you said that you can actually, your dream can die by suicide because of our very own words. But how do you get back to it if you cursed it, Bishop?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that it's not dead if it still agitates you, if it's still churning inside of you. What you have to do is begin to retrain your thoughts concerning that dream. And I actually believe there's an exercise that you go through where you speak out of your mouth and you break the power of the words that you spoke. Because if you invoke them, you release a powerful force, but you can now speak life. If you spoke death, you can speak life. If you have, if there's a snake bite, there's an antidote. So what you need to do is realize that your dreams have been bitten by the serpent of your tongue, and now you must release the antidote, which is the word of God. Say about your dream what God says about your dream. You're able to do exceeding and abundantly above all you could ask or think, because God says He's able to do it. And if He's willing to do it through you, you become the hand of God, the mind of God, the voice of God concerning your dream. God not only speaks to us, He speaks through us. So ask God for the power to breathe life on those dreams that you previously cursed. Because a lot of times we curse them out of fear. So when we dismiss the fear, we can begin to speak faith. So it's about your encounter with God. So here's what I would say. Bottom line, don't encounter your dream again until after you've encountered God again about your dream.
Wow.
Bishop, that is so very powerful. You know, I'm sitting here taking notes myself on that. I love what you said, Bishop. Say about your dream what God says about your dream, and have an encounter with Him. I love that. See, the very thing you use to curse your dream is the very thing that you can use to bless your dream, to build that dream back up. But you have to identify it and stop it immediately. And I'm glad that this is where we started, and we're actually here at 8 o'clock on the dot, and so we are out of time. But I'm going to give our co-host one more moment to share one last thought in regards to the maniacal mindset. This is critical. Before you can create or build momentum, you have to have the proper mindset. If you don't, you will kill your momentum, or it will dry up quicker than it started, folks. And it's critical. And so we said you have to have a maniacal mindset. You have to feed it, speak it, and hear it. So Lynette, I'm going to come to you as we wrap up and hear any closing thoughts you have in regards to having a maniacal mindset this morning.
Well, just want to make sure that it is reinforced this morning. We do not want to be impulsive about our words. We want to be intentional about the words we speak, and make sure as we speak our words, I try to put as much force behind. When someone asks me, how are you doing today? I am fantastic. I am phenomenal. It does something through my body. It just really shifts a lot of things inside of me with the way I say things. Sometimes you'll approach people, Jill, and you say, hey, how you doing? They're like, I'm good. I'm all right. And your body just kind of conforms, and things just kind of be okay, all right. But when I say I'm fantastic, I'm wonderful, things shift. So I just want to put that out there. Just today alone, when people come up to you, how you doing this morning? I'm fantastic. I'm phenomenal. Put that force and that energy behind your words and watch things shift.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Michelle?
The truth of the matter is that we are more than a conqueror. We're above and not beneath, and we are lenders and not borrowers, and that is the truth. And those are some of the things that we need to say. Speak the truth over your life, not just what you think, but speak the truth and stop lying to yourself.
Excellent. Dawn?
I love that. I'm sorry. I was like, I'm writing that down. Anyway, all I will say is, especially to the person who put that in the group, but to everybody, because I don't think she's probably alone in thinking that man, what do I do if I've said things that, use whatever word, cursed it, or whatever the right word is. Reality is, we're not catching God off guard at all, and know that everybody on this call at one point or another has not spoken positively about ourselves or our dreams, but we're still here because you still wake up, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and keep trusting that everything that God put in you, all the greatness that's on the inside of you, is still there. And so just keep doing what you know to do the right thing. Turn like Bishop said, go back to your source. Remember your why. And just keep it moving because you're going to end up exactly where God has for you, and in the place where God has for you, if that's what you desire.
Absolutely, Dawn. And Bishop, we're going to come to you, and we're going to close it out and get ready for next week.
Absolutely. God said in Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and I set you apart as a prophet to the nation. That's what he did for Jeremiah. God knew us before he formed us in the womb. So we were known by God before our parents or our circumstances had a chance to consider an abortion. God knew us. And that word knew means he was intimately acquainted with us, and he already had our destiny ordained. So then you go to Jeremiah 29:11, which says, I know the plans I have for you. So God, who knew us and knows the plan, I'm suggesting that we go back to the one who knows us and who knows the plans he has for us, and ask him to relaunch us into the destiny that those plans dictate.
Bishop, absolutely awesome. Awesome. Folks, you got some good stuff this morning. You're here Momentum Monday, and we're talking about the power of momentum, How do you create it? The first step is having a maniacal mindset. And I'd like to wrap up with a challenge, and Lynette, be ready to open us up. For the next 30 days, be intentional about what you watch, what you read, what you hear, and what you say for the next 30 days. Be very intentional. Don't be casual. So I would say for the next 30 days, I will not watch X, Y, and Z. I will read for so many minutes X, Y, and Z. I will begin to saturate your mind with those things that will build you up so that you can say the right things regarding your life, your dreams, your business, your career, and your family. We're flat out of time, folks. I want to thank you so much for dialing into Momentum Monday, where your Mondays will never be the same. Lynette, open us up this morning and tell us what to say as we roll out this morning.
We want to say, I have a maniacal mindset. Yes. I have a maniacal mindset.
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 I have a maniacal mindset.